The other day I did this fireplace poker, or the blank for the fireplace poker, under the new Say-Mak power hammer, just as a get to know the power hammer exercise. And I thought today we would finish it, but we will finish it probably without using the power hammer. I'll probably use the treadle hammer a little bit for some decorative chisel work on the handle, but the rest of this I think we'll just do at the anvil, just so this isn't all a power hammer project. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is try to clean up the transition for this finial. I didn't go in at the hammer at the best angle, so it's kind of off-center and twisted here. So I'm going to see if I can clean that up. There's a chance it'll break off because it's been stressed quite a bit right here, but we're going to do the best we can. Then I'm going to do some decorative chisel work at the treadle hammer in here, probably some X's and some center punch marks. It makes a pretty nice pattern in a handle like this. After that's done, we'll turn this around and we're going to split the tines and make the hook and the point. And that's really all that still needs to be done to this poker. So I think to try and bring this finial back in line, I'm going to work over a bottom fuller and do some of it with a rawhide mallet so that I don't mess up the sharp, crisp corners on the finial, but we may go to a regular forging hammer if we need to. A lot of this is just a matter of trying to get things to go back in line where they should have been. That's working quite well. I want to take another heat on this. I want to make sure I work it hot, or it might be real easy to mess up. Like working back here on the handle, it doesn't bother me to use a regular hammer. Just right here on the finial that I want to not mess it up. This may take a little bit of filing, but that's really looking quite good. I think I'll trade this out for a regular spring fuller. And be careful not to hit the finial because it sticks up a little bit here. I think that's looking a lot better. I think a little bit of filing and that'll look real good. And since this is already hot, let's just do it hot at the vise. The other thing I can see is this is still twisted. So I'm going to grab that with a twisting wrench real quick. Get that more in line. Now you can create this same element at the anvil. It's pretty much 45 degrees and work the corners down. But it really works nicely at the power hammer when everything goes right. I think that's about as cleaned up as that is going to get for the moment. There may be some cold filing yet to go. It's not as good as I would like. There's still a little bit of offset here, but it's vastly better than it was. So I think we're going to go to the treadle hammer and we're going to do our chiseled decoration. So this is just a series of chisel cut X's. And it certainly wouldn't hurt to lay this out. But I think for a demonstration piece, you'll get the idea just fine doing it by eye. That one was a little off. Taking the time to do a really nice layout certainly does not hurt for pieces that really are going to mean something later. Again, when you do this, you want to keep the finial off the edge so you don't knock it off center. Lots of little center punch marks doing it this way. It's something like that. Now, doing something like this entirely by eye without a pattern might seem a little bit sloppy, a little cavalier. But, and I'm sure you knew there was going to be a but in that statement, the only way to get better at it is to do it. If you do this enough, pretty soon it'll look like you laid it out. You won't have to take that time, and you will have developed the skill of doing it, and you will have trained your eye to do this kind of work, and that will open more doors to you that you can do other places. Now this one's, like I say, it is a little bit sloppy because I haven't done a pattern like this freehand in a long time. So it'll probably end up just hanging on a hook in the shop or in the basement wood shop and get used in the wood stove, and it'll be a piece that I'll treasure even if I don't bother to sell it. So I'm going to let this end cool, and then we'll turn it around and we'll do the hook end. The first thing I want to do is punch a hole in here. This will just make for a cleaner transition when I split the hook and the poker point off of the main bar. It just gives us a hole we'll aim for as we do our split. I'll go ahead and lay that out. This is something I would quite typically just do under the treadle hammer. But we've already seen the treadle hammer in this project, so let's do it at the anvil. This is just a layout I'll get more aggressive on in the next heat. If you think you're going to cut all the way through, put a soft plate down. But I don't think I'll cut all the way through this pass. We're getting close to cutting through at the tip. So I'll go ahead and put a soft plate under there for the next pass. I'm going to go ahead and come from the back so I don't have as big a rag from the split. And certainly you could do this on a bandsaw if you wanted to. So we're starting to split there. I think I'll go back to the other side. Okay, that's cut all the way through. Now I just need to open it up, and then we're going to hot rasp all that rag off of there. I just want to bend those out so I get a hammer in there. And I want to open them up quite a ways so I can do a good job of filing that in there. Rasping, however you want to look at it. So let's go to the vise. Hot rasping can be extremely fast. You want to make sure you get rid of this little cold shut that's starting to form here. So that's pretty much all you need to do here. We'll do the same to the other side. I went ahead and did the hot rasping on the other one since you'd seen it once. It all looks about the same. We want to draw out the points and make them even. They don't need to be real thin or real sharp. They just need to be cleaned up after the splitting and the rasping. And when you're happy with the shape, you can start putting the hook in. I think I'll get another heat to clean this up a little bit. Just make sure you take a look at it and you're happy with what that curve looks like. Now, I like to bring these up, put a little recurve in the hook part as well. So it's just a little fiddling here and a little fussing there, and pretty soon you end up with a shape you like. Personally, I think this hook is a little bit too long, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Kind of hate messing with it at this point, but means I got to straighten it back out a little bit, draw that out, but not too big a deal. I'm going to actually draw this out into more of a flat taper. It'll be more of a chisel edge point than it is a sharp pokey point. And then, of course, you got to reshape it to make it look the way you want it to. And sometimes you got to work around the entire anvil to get this stuff to come out just the way you want it to. But I think we're there. That is the shape I was thinking of. It's going to be a very nice poker. Last thing will be a little bit of paste wax or beeswax. So I'll put this back in the fire and warm it up. Well, here is a completed fireplace poker. It's still too warm to hold on to barehanded, so I'm going to have to wear gloves. It's got a nice diamond finial on it. A chisel decorated handle, it's about 3/4, nice substantial handle, a gently tapering shank. Now some people had asked, why don't I use kiss blocks under the flat dies to get a perfectly even finish? And that's because I wanted to taper. It goes from probably a little over 1/2 inch to about 3/8 of an inch down here, and it's just a very graceful taper, and you can't really do that so easily with kiss blocks. So I just did it all by hand and by eye, plus that develops skills. And then it's got a very nice split point, no forge welds, all one piece of 1-inch square bar, 12 inches long, and this is what we ended up with. Overall, we ended up at 34 inches, just a little shorter than I guessed. I was kind of going for 3 feet or a little longer, but still a nice poker. Because the handle decoration is a little wild and weird, I don't know that I'll sell this one, although I suppose if somebody that's seen it and knows it's a little wild and weird wants it, I probably would. If not, it'll hang in my shop, either the blacksmith shop or the wood shop, and get used in the wood stove to heat during the winter, and it'll be a very nice poker to have around. So that's it for that project. Again, the main point of this was for me to get to know the new power hammer, and I thought something that had some controlled tapering and a few different techniques to draw out would be a good way to do that. But then finishing it at the anvil makes a big difference in the appearance of the finished product. Other than trying to design the whole project to be power hammer only, it starts to look like it was done power hammer only. And while that's okay, it's not really what I'm going for in most cases. I just want the power hammer to do all the really hard work. I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Love it if you hit that subscribe button. As always, feel free to stick around, watch a few of the other videos, share the videos with your friends, but then try to make time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, but stay safe, wear your safety glasses, and we'll see you for the next one.